Coming up, we have stories about +1 wedding drama, weekly dinner dates with exes, disagreements over roles in the house, flip-flopping on living arrangements, wedding date conflicts, assumptions about childcare, and all the spicy stories, petty revenge stories, and cake stories you can fit on your plate. We're going to have a good time. Let's rock and roll. Am I the astronaut for not giving my best friends a +1 at our wedding? Our wedding budget allowed us to not have to worry about limiting the amount of guests within reason. Well, that's not a great start. My best friend at the time and groomsman, Russell, not real name, had a girlfriend, Shannon, who no one liked. Everyone was around her only because Russell is a great guy and a perfect gentleman, etc. He's the kind of guy who is so nice and everyone wants him to be happy, find a good woman, and have a good life. Shannon, on the other hand, was very negative, toxic, and people thought she was a little weird, not in a good way. There are so many stories of her just being rude, a party pooper, and I later found out saying bad opinions about us. These comments would surface on Facebook, through some games we play in friend groups, and through talking behind our backs. Basically, Shannon was rude and a "you must be fun at parties" type of person. The part that was hard for me was that while Shannon was so negative and toxic and judgmental, Russell was so good and happy. I felt like I was supposed to tell him that his girlfriend sucks, but who am I to tell a happy man something negative? So when it came time to send out the invitations, I felt like I was at a crossroads with inviting Shannon or not. Many friends and even family have expressed their concern with sitting at the same table as Shannon. Then my fiance, now wife, requested that Shannon not be invited, and that was it. I sent Russell one without a +1. He didn't know, but he was the only person with a significant other who didn't get a +1 on his invite. Am I going to go into my wedding/marriage upsetting my best friend, or am I going into it upsetting my wife and close friends? That's an easy choice. The wedding day came, and I left a seat open for him, and understandably, he didn't show up. I wasn't mad about it, and I understood it, but I was a little bummed. Many guests came in, looked at the list of tables, and were relieved that Shannon wasn't at their table. Then they felt that they could party freely. I don't regret not inviting her, but I feel like in hindsight, I could have approached the subject differently or sooner. Am I the astronaut for not inviting his +1? The title is not the same as the story. It was singled out to one person. They even say it's singled out to one person here, so that does change things a little bit, but it's not just you. Nobody wanted her there. How would you have that conversation with your friend? How would you approach it? Tater Thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, Candy Thunder for the first time today.
I probably would have talked to him before just not inviting his girlfriend. I probably would have said that she makes everyone uncomfortable and we don't want that drama at our wedding, so she can't come. But he should have told him before, not just extending the +1.
I agree.
And she should have told him why, because just not sending it and not communicating it was just made him feel a certain way.
We don't know how long they've been together. We don't. There's a lot that we don't know, right? That could have complicated this or made it easier. If they hadn't been together that long, it'd be a pretty easy conversation. But to have the conversation be like, hey man, no one wants to deal with your girlfriend there.
Yeah, I mean, open that and maybe that conversation can lead to somewhere. And I get what he's saying. Nobody wants to be around someone that is like that. Like, it's uncomfortable and makes you feel self-conscious and icky in a certain way. So I get why they don't want her there, and the wife didn't want her there. I don't have any problems with not wanting her there. It's just communicate why you don't want her there.
Right.
And give him the chance to absorb that information besides just sending an invitation.
Agreed. And I don't feel like we would be, it wouldn't have changed what happened at the wedding, right? He wouldn't have shown up, but there's not showing up because even if you talk to him and you're like, hey, here's what's going on, and I would love to just invite you and not her because nobody wants her here. He then is put in a position where either he goes to the wedding without her and creates division within his relationship, or doesn't go and stands in solidarity with her, which is what he ended up doing anyway.
Right.
So like you could have had the conversation. It's just an awkward conversation, right? And I feel like OP just avoided the awkward discomfort by just sending that off, which feels cowardly. It does feel like it should have been done differently. which would be what, an ask on 3 if you should have done it differently.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
I do feel like I don't know. You can't tell someone who to break up with or who to be with, but if he had voiced concern and opinion on the conversation, it could have opened a door.
What happens when you leave silence there, right? There's no
fill in the
narrative
blanks.
control, and
Yeah.
you allow the other person to fill in the blanks with the worst possible scenario.
Right.
And that's, I don't think you want the other party here to fill in the blanks and just make up whatever they want, right? You want to have the truth in there so that he at least knows, and yeah, he's still
Yeah.
going to miss your wedding, but you could still be buddies.
So I guess they let Shannon control the narrative on his end. And of course, you know what that narrative is going to be if she's already talking shit on everyone. And if she is talking shit on his friends, like why does he allow that? Or why has he not stopped it? Or like, have they conversated about that? Russell and Shannon, but I don't know. That's a whole nother.
Pain creates change, right? And he hasn't experienced enough pain to have that conversation yet. This might have been it. Am I the ask-off for telling my boyfriend I'm not okay with his weekly dinners with his ex? My boyfriend, 29 male, and I, 27 female, have been together for about 8 months now. Things are good most of the time, except he still gets dinner every single week with his ex. It's the same restaurant, same night of the week, and with just the two of them. Boop. They dated for years but broke up a while ago. He says that they've stayed close friends. I didn't love it, but I tried to be cool about it. Then I finally met her. She wasn't openly rude, but definitely had an attitude. She called me the new one and made little digs like how she got him into certain hobbies or sports he now takes me to. It didn't feel friendly. My friends who were there noticed it too. I told my boyfriend it makes me uncomfortable. I'm not asking him to cut her off, but a weekly one-on-one dinner feels like a bit much for me, especially when she clearly doesn't like me. He says I'm overreacting and that it's just a tradition. He offered to let me tag along, but I don't want to sit there getting passive-aggressively judged over dinner. Now he's upset and kind of pulling away. Am I being unreasonable here? No, you are not being unreasonable, and I think if he's pulling away after you've issued your discomfort here, you know everything you need to know.
This isn't a tradition, and if he's pulling away, then he, in my opinion, has feelings for her, because he's willing to give up his girlfriend and not the ex he has a weekly dinner with. In my opinion, and I could be totally wrong, but I feel like if you truly care about somebody and don't have feelings for your ex, you wouldn't be having weekly dinners. Not weekly. That's too much, right? I mean, no. Like, this is too much. I don't think you should have to put up with this in a relationship.
We don't get weekly dinners.
No, that's what I'm like. You can come with us, but why do you need to maintain that relationship? Why do you need to maintain it every single week? Like, in my opinion, is too much. And if you're significant, I can't see any person going into the relationship and it just being okay with it. Yeah. There's going to be questions no matter what.
So I think there's a complication in the beginning here, and OP said it herself, and it was similar in the story I read this morning. She tried to be okay with it, tried to be cool with it in the beginning, mm-hmm. right? So you create this precedent, and in that phase, you kind of enable this happening.
Right. Because
you let it happen and you try to be cool with it, right? Instead of being honest about how it makes you feel right then. I think for me, it all comes down to one line. And that is, when you told him how uncomfortable you were, his first response was to tell you what? You're overreacting. Look, we may all like have that first gut reaction feeling to be like, oh, they must be overreacting. But if you feel those words coming out of your face, I want you to stop and just think for a second, because your overreacting is dismissive. It is minimizing feelings, and it's gaslighting. Okay. So look, your ex now couldn't even try to understand your feelings, couldn't even try to respect what you were feeling and be like, yeah, you know what? Putting myself in your shoes, that would be really uncomfortable. No, all he did was be like, you're overreacting. Do you want to come with? No, I don't want to be in a throuple with you guys. Like, just off. Stop.
Yeah, I feel like if you're prioritizing an ex over your girlfriend, you're in love with your ex.
All right, that's an official NTA for you, OP. You've issued your discomfort. You did what you were supposed to do, and I think he showed his true colors here, which were his true colors are French tickler. So that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. That's it. It's unfortunate, but at least you know now. Title of this one is My Partner of Nearly 3 Years Has Never Given Me Any Reason to Believe He's Cheating. But today, I went into a panic when he sent me a snap that clearly wasn't meant for me. The snap. He was in our dark bedroom shirtless, not posing or anything. You could mostly see his face, arms, and collarbones. It was close up. It was minutes after he went upstairs to shower, and I took a screenshot while trying to figure out how to react. Within moments, he came running downstairs to explain himself. He said he was talking to his coworker, supposedly about his wife not feeling well, and when he got home, he laid downstairs on the couch and we ate dinner, so he stopped replying. His coworker asked where he went, so he said, I was snoozing, and another line of text that said, how is mama feeling after nappy? He explained that she hadn't been feeling well and they were talking about it. He said he knew exactly how it looked and he wanted to clear things up because he in no way intended to hurt me or cause me anxiety. He shared that the snap was intended for his male coworker and that the mamas he was referring to were his coworker's significant other. I know that guys' relationships are weird and it's totally normal for them to talk to each other affectionately and sometimes more than they even do their partners. He told me that since he's been in relationships where his partner has cheated, he knows what it feels like and he didn't want me to experience that feeling. I know that I should believe him, but I have an anxious attachment style and I don't know how to not overthink this. He asked me if there's anything he can do to make me feel better and I do not have an answer. I want to trust him and I know if I felt more secure in myself and our relationship right now, we'd be laughing about this. Okay. Not an update, but a couple of things to add, more details here. He works in a male-dominated industry. I have absolutely zero concern that he's cheating with a coworker. He's been at his job for 10 plus years and his coworkers do come to him about their relationships. We're both 30 and 95% of his coworkers are younger than he is. We text for important and timely convos and snap for everything else. Blue-collar shop guys definitely smack ass and jokingly flirt. It wasn't a shower snap, but it was shirtless. Do you want to dive into top comments now, or do you want to discuss this for a second, Tater? All right. First top comment here, and then we'll discuss for a second. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and sends suggestive snaps that it literally runs downstairs to explain. Okay. What do y'all think? Tater, what do you think? Look, like I can picture the scene and like the sound effect of him running down the stairs as fast as...
I mean,
it's not what you think. It's not what you think. It's not what you think.
I would need to see the conversation. I would need to see something to make sure that your story was not just made up on the fly. But
right,
I think the quickness to defend and like overly explain makes me uncomfortable.
I mean, let's run the other direction for a second and say it is completely benign, right? Let's say it's completely innocent and it is exactly what he says it is. How would he react if it were innocent? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I think he's...
I think that you would just send another immediate snap that's like, oh, I meant to send that to my friend. And you wouldn't over-explain. You wouldn't like run downstairs too. I would need to see the chat. I'd have to see the chat. I have to see that you guys were conversing. I would need to see it. But I feel it looks sus, like super sus. Feels very much like a duck, which is also now how we refer to cheating. It's a duck. Oh, it's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, and I do agree. A lot of chat here is like, let me see your phone.
So I did see that on the thread, and people were saying, someone was like, no, that's an invasion of privacy, that you have no right to see your partner's phone. And
if he wants to clear himself, then if you clear yourself.
If your partner sends you a snap that suggests that he might be cheating, I feel like he would want to clear the air. If he has nothing to hide, then how is it? Like, what are you trying to hide? I don't understand.
Also, for the commenter who's like, that's a complete invasion of privacy, what are you hiding?
Yeah. What you got on your phone?
Hiding?
What you got on your phone, girl?
What you got? What you got? I
I
don't.
don't have anything private on my phone.
Same.
Like you want to check it out? Check it out. I don't care.
I hand her my phone all the time, and I pick up her phone all the time. We have like the
His
fingerprint
fingerprint is on-
access
yeah.
to each other's phones. It's. I think we want to give each other that level of comfort and security to know that there's nothing ever being hidden, and it's all an open book. How is Mama's feeling after nappy? He was 100% sending that text to a female who told him she wasn't feeling well and was going to take a nap. Come on now. Why would he send his coworker a shirtless pic, and why would he care how his coworker's spouse is feeling? It's silly to think that he's that invested in the health of his coworker's wife. He's cheating, girly. I know it's hard to wrap your head around because I've been here before, but be smart. His frantic actions were also 1,000% guilty. Okay, so after that comment, you agree with this?
I don't know. I mean, I'm with the first comment. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Am I the astronaut for returning my husband's energy? For many years, my husband would come home from work and start complaining the moment we walked through the door. My wife isn't dressed up. Dinner isn't ready. Come serve me.
What? NTA. NT.
I was a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, 2 and under. I tried to keep our common areas decent. I made dinner every night and washed dishes every night. My husband was coming home around 7 p.m. for work, so the days of solo parenting were long. Just very strict gender roles. It was a box I felt I was pushed into when what I really wanted was a husband who came home, realized that I was working all day too, and jumped into the action. I've communicated all of this to him, but he always is asking for me to do more when I actually feel as though I can't manage so much and I need him to contribute more at home. My husband has been unemployed for 3 weeks, and I'm starting to go to the clinic for school full time. Dinner isn't ready when I get home. It isn't even ready before I go to bed because I have to wake up at 5 a.m. and I go to bed at 9 p.m. He's still not doing the kids' laundry. I do that. I still have to clean up leftover dishes from the dinners I didn't eat. He's not cooking. His mom is living with us right now, so she is. The kids just don't cling to him like they do to me, so he really has stay-at-home parenting on easy mode. Last night, our 10-month-old had some sniffles and wasn't going to sleep easily. After I finished breastfeeding our son, I told my husband that I was going to go to another room to sleep because I had to work. He pulled the "I have to work" card countless times to tap out of the hard parts of parenting. I was the one who stayed up whenever the kids weren't going to sleep, were sick, or got hungry in the middle of the night. All night, my son was crying. I tried to just leave him alone and give him the space to learn. After a while, I tried to intervene, and my husband was so angry at me that he just pushed me away and told me not to be around them. Excuse me? Clearly, he was struggling with a sleepless night with a sick baby, but all I can think is that it's a quintessential parenting experience that he would have otherwise missed out on, and I helped him have at least a bit more of an authentic stay-at-home parent experience. In all honesty, I feel like he doesn't understand my struggles and always asks for more or is unhappy with me, so maybe experiencing a taste of what I've gone through for the past 2.5 years would help him see things from my perspective. This probably isn't going to help us, though. That's the end. So we don't really have like a, how did this experiment end up? Maybe we'll get an update on this sometime, but the question is, am I the astronaut for returning my husband's energy?
That man is messy. Like he's just, I mean, it seems to me like he just treats his wife like a servant. I mean, what's the point?
What's the point of what?
The relationship. Why is he, I don't know.
Okay, Tony Spark found a comment that he's going to add to give us a little bit of an update, but I think here's where I'm trying to get with this. He was relishing his very strict gender role, and now all of that has been ripped away from him. He is feeling emasculated right now because he is unemployed. He is the stay-at-home parent. He had to have his mommy come help. He is failing at everything in life right now. So he is an open wound right now, which means he's going to be raw, right? Yes, he deserves every second, but I don't know that you're going to get the learning experience that you want to get out of this because he's so raw anyway, right? Yes, it would be great if he was open to learning and having this experience and changing his mindset and not being a dick. That would be great. I'm just saying it's going to be even more difficult right now because he is also experiencing emasculated failure.
But I mean, why not step the fuck up and do your job as a parent? takes two to make kids, and he's there raising them. Step the fuck up.
That's what he should do.
Excel in the role that you've been given at this point. You are now providing for the kids that you made, but he sees, in my opinion, he sees that as beneath him. He sees that as a woman's job.
Yes.
And I would love to know why the mother-in-law is living there.
It's because
it kind of seems like it's because
she's enabling, right?
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I 100% think his mom has raised him to be this baby of a man who women should serve, and he is better than women because he is a man. Which
means his frustration is doubled down because he's failed and emasculated, and now just the fact that he has to be the stay-at-home parent is just driving him in.
Yeah.
You know, before the kids, we had a lovely little dynamic going on while I went to school and he worked. We both cooked and cleaned. Everything was easier when the responsibilities were less. Even for the first 40 days postpartum, my husband did an amazing job stepping up and taking care of all the household chores so I could focus on healing and caring for the baby. My mother-in-law enforced this policy on all of her sons. Okay. I didn't work for the first year of my son's life, and we fell into that very traditional dynamic. He grew up seeing his mom do everything for his dad. And before marriage, we had spoken about this, and I expressed that I wanted a more egalitarian relationship. Just so much changed after having kids, and trust me, I was complaining along the way as my workload just kept piling and piling. I just think maybe he can't fathom how it's so hard for me to do it all when his mom could. But yeah, I've been sticking this out because I have hope that we can improve our relationship, right? Ideally, we'd work through our issues and keep our family whole. I've seen a really big improvement after my mom spoke to him. We're just not where we need to be still, and I feel that time is running out because I'm seeing the stress it puts on my oldest especially. It's affecting the kids. In response to someone saying divorce, unfortunately, I think that's what it's coming down to. He isn't open to marriage counseling, but I'm going to try a little longer to convince him to at least go and see a counselor. I don't want to be the parents that bicker and fight all the time and traumatize their kids. I've already seen it starting to affect our 2.5-year-old, and I've got to draw the line. Of course, I want my kids to grow into kind, caring, responsible adults. If I stay married, I can remain doing 90% of the childcare and have the most influence. They see their dad come home from work, go to the park with him, have dinner, and go to bed. And anytime he says or does something out of pocket, I'm there to defend them. If I go, then he might get 50% custody. He'd have to step up his parenting or outsource to another woman, and I don't get to see what's happening with my kids. Okay, it sounds like the primary driver for you wanting to stay right now is for your kids. And I can tell you that's not going to work.
Yeah, her primary driver for leaving is her kids, and her primary driver for staying is her kids, because she said she sees the effect that it's having on them, but she also knows that she's going to be losing time with her kids if she leaves.
It's got to be.
That's a rock and a hard place.
Look, like your kids, like you would do anything. You would move mountains. You would traverse the universe for your kids, right? But a relationship cannot work just for the kids.
No.
It can't. If nothing else, what you do teaches them that they should settle and that they're not worth love and respect later on in life. And you have to think about that part of it too. Yes, you want to be there to defend them. You also want to teach them right now what choices to make later on when they're in this position. This is tough. Right now, he's already outsourcing, the work he has to do to another woman. It's just his mommy.
I also think it's important to make sure that we say that we were wrong about mother-in-law. The wife said she raised them to be supportive.
Yes, we were wrong.
He, at some point, raising a child is hard. There is no shame in saying that, and it has taken a toll on their relationship, and taken a toll on husband, it seems. And he's unwilling to go to therapy. That's the part. For me, that's the part. If you want a healthy relationship and your wife is offering to stay, even though she doesn't have to, and says we should go to therapy, and he's 100% against it, to me, that says you're unwilling to change. You're unwilling to see the error of your ways because you don't want them pointed out to you, because you don't want to see them. And so at that point, you're just choosing to stay in the toxicity that their relationship has become. So for me, this would be, I don't know. And she's not wrong about I get to do 90% if I stay married, but I still don't think it's worth it to stay married, because I think your kids are going to suffer more because of it.
So there's one thing that we haven't really addressed yet. And that is, well, before I get into that, yes, we were wrong about mother-in-law, like creating him to be the man that he is. However, the model that they gave him and what he saw growing up. It's the generational model, right? He saw her be a trad wife, essentially, and that was the generational model that he had, and he can't fathom how it's too much for you because his mommy could do it, right? So there's that, but she's there now, but what is she doing if she's there now? Is she continuing to try to get him to be supportive and to be the man that she raised him to be?
Good point.
Or allowing him to be the way that he is being to you right now, which is definitely not okay. So she could still be enabling here. We don't know what's happening while she's there right now. The other part of it is this. She's still breastfeeding. How old was their youngest
Yeah,
kid?
I was going to say she could. It's not always 50-50. And maybe this man doesn't even want 50-50.
That's not where I was going with it. I was going with if they've got a child young enough to be breastfeeding, they could very well still be in that phase of life where you are a zombie. Where when you have a newborn, right? When you have a baby, you get to this phase where like you're hanging on your last thread all the time. You're a shell of yourself. Like you're operating, you're a raw exposed nerve. And you are not yourself in that time. And maybe they're in that time where they're not themselves. And I don't think anybody should make decisions about ending their marriage during that time because you are not yourself. You are feeling everything amplified like exponentially, and you do come out of it. But yeah, not being willing to work on it and get better is definitely a red flag. But it's also, especially during that time, would be really hard to hear your partner tell you need to go to therapy, right? When you're already just like, it would be really, really hard. Not excusing anything he's done. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's not looking good, but there are a lot of factors that pour into that. And I think identifying those factors first and then seeing which ones are the largest contributors may give you a little bit of a deeper insight and ability to help and come out of the darkness here. On fire because my boyfriend doesn't love me. I'm not sure where I stand with him right now. This was last week, and I am a mess. I know the title sounds crazy, and it is, but please let me explain things. Backstory, I, 22 female, have been in a 3-year relationship with my boyfriend, Bradley, 24 male, fake name. When Bradley and I first got together, it was amazing. We met at work, and he was the sweetest guy. He seemed really genuine, which was a lot different than the usual type of guys I would date, so we started going out. Things stayed pretty good for the first year, but soon after that is when we started experiencing some problems. Our intimacy went down the drain, basically. My love language is physical touch, so it means a lot to me, and he just suddenly withdrew. He doesn't want to cuddle, barely kissed me, and we barely did anything at all. Anything! It was so sudden and out of character when compared to the great year we just had, so I was super thrown off. As this went on, things between us got more and more tense, but we kind of just grew into this weird dynamic where I got really upset and insecure about his coldness, and he got really frustrated with me. I would constantly ask him questions about if he still found me attractive, if he loved me, and why wasn't he interested in me. He would always say the same thing, I am interested in you, or else I wouldn't be dating you. I just want space. This would drive me crazy. I don't know how many fights and arguments we had that started from that sentence, but it happened a lot. And yet we didn't break up. And it's been like this for 2 years.
Oh my.
Because part of me truly does love him, and I think he loves me. We do have our good moments, but there were also so many fights and a complete lack of communication from him. The past few months, things have really started to get to me again. I go through periods where I can push it to the side, ignore it, but the issue always comes creeping back up. So I started trying to be extra flirty. I'd try and kiss him, send him pictures throughout the day, anything I could do to try to find that spark between us. The guy barely even wanted to give me a peck on the lips in public. I talked to my girlfriends about it, and they took me shopping for some steamy outfits to try on and look super hot for him. So I spent about $300 on a shopping spree getting all these hot clothes and outfits, both to hopefully make him attracted to me again and to feel better about myself, because all of this has really taken a toll on my self-image and mental health. I ended up sending him a whole bunch of pictures in my outfits in a try-on haul type of way, hoping I'd get a good response. He didn't really respond to the pictures usually, or would just brush them off, but I really thought I upped the game here. His response? I really wish you'd stop sending me these slutty f***ing pictures. I don't want to see you or your underwear. I don't need any of that. I was already feeling pretty intensely emotional that day, and that sent me over the edge. I crashed out. I admit it. I got so damn pissed, I piled up some of the new clothes I had bought and some of his shitty t-shirts and hoodies he had left at my house, got some lighter fluid, and set it all on fire in my backyard. Middle of the day, burning hundreds of dollars of clothing away. I admit it. It was a lot, but his comment just pushed me too far. I recorded videos and took pics of the burning clothes and sent it to him saying, "Guess you won't have to see it anymore then, motherfucker." He lost it on me. He called me and started screaming at me over the phone about how, "I'm at work. Why are you setting my clothes on fire? Why are you setting your clothes on fire? This is why you're a crazy bitch and no one wants to touch you." And how I'm completely psychotic. He left a pretty expensive pair of Jordans at my place too, so I threw those in the fire because I was completely fuming and sent him one final picture of his stupid shoes burning up since he loves them so much. I hosed off the charred clothes, bagged them up, drove to his house while he was still at work, and dumped everything out on his doorstep. He has a Ring doorbell, so as this was happening, he was continuously calling me and messaging me, bitching at me about how it's a rental, and I'm embarrassing him, and his neighbors will think I'm a psycho, but I was just ignoring him at this point. I ended up answering once and telling him to go f*** himself and burn like all of our clothes, and then blocked him. It's been almost a week, and I haven't heard from him since that day. I'm not sure if we're broken up or not, but I unblocked him the next day and still haven't heard anything. So yeah, my reaction was intense, but can you blame me after the toxic 2 years he's put us through? Is there any making it through this for us? Or are things too far gone now? I'm just sitting there. I don't know what to do. If I did too much, or if I was justified, and my girlfriends kind of just avoid the subject and act like I may be crashing out too much. Am I the astronaut here?
Babe, it's over.
No, babe.
100%. This is done. This should have been done at the end of year one when he pulled away and you kept pushing what you needed aside. So every time you did that, you built up resentment and resentment and resentment to this person that you thought that you loved. And you saw what happened when all that resentment came spilling out of you and you lit shit on fire, literally. So you're 22. And I hope that this taught you about the relationship that you shouldn't be in, and that we all have different love languages, and it's our job as a partner, if we choose to be in a relationship, to show up for the person that we love in a way that we show up to show them that we love, but also in the way that they need love. And he did not do that for you. So I know how you got to where you got. That's not healthy though. So I feel like if someone can push you that far, that's not it. That's just toxic.
If somebody ever makes you feel like like there's a high likelihood that you're going to go Daenerys Targaryen, literally scorched earth, that's not a healthy relationship to be in. You guys had a healthy relationship. Something shifted and changed in him. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows what that was? It doesn't matter. Your relationship effectively ended right then. You've been dying a slow death since then.
Right.
And now the most concerning part is that you're like, is there any making it through for us?
That's the most concerning part of all of this.
Why would you want to subject yourself to that again? You saw what it did to you. Like Candy Thunder said, you know this pain. You know that stove is not just hot. It's like bonfire of expensive clothing hot. So
Jordan's on fire hot.
That's right. Let's you don't want to be in a situation where there's a high likelihood of you ending up back in that space.
Yeah, Mother Trucker, don't let feelings turn into felonies. 100%.
Am I the astronaut for ruining my mother-in-law Kathy's birthday cake and making her cry in front of everyone? So my 28 female mother-in-law Kathy just turned 60, and my husband, 31 male, and I hosted her birthday at our house. It was supposed to be low stress, small family gathering, potluck style. Kathy insisted she didn't want a big fuss. Cool. I bake as a hobby and offered to make her a cake. She hit me with her usual, "Oh no dear, don't bother. I'll just pick something up from the store." But then, classic Kathy, she launched into a 20-minute monologue about how people these days don't know how to bake from scratch, and how her mother used to make the most divine red velvet cake you've ever tasted in your life, dear. It was the pinnacle of sophistication. A lost art, really. So I took the hint. I spent 2 days making a gorgeous 3-layer red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting. I crumb-coated, piped delicate little rosettes, and even used edible gold leaf for the lettering. Happy 60th, Kathy. The thing looked straight out of a magazine. Damn. Is it one of those cakes that's like too pretty to eat? You know what I mean? That's a thing. That's a thing. The day the party arrives, Kathy walks in, sees the cake, and freezes like I just served her a taxidermied raccoon. She gives me a tight smile and goes, "Oh, red velvet. How vintage." Listen, bitch, I'm about to red velvet you. Okay, whatever. I bite my tongue. After dinner, I bring out the cake. Everyone is oohing and awing except Kathy, who's sitting there staring at it like it just keyed her car. Then she says, "Red velvet? Ugh, I never understood the hype. It's just dyed chocolate. Honestly, I find it so tacky."
What?
I was so stunned I actually laughed. This is the same woman who has spent years waxing poetic about her mother's red velvet cake like it was baked by angels and delivered via golden chariot. Before I can respond, Kathy stands up and goes, "Actually, I brought my own cake." Oh. I feel a spatula slapping match coming on here. She stomps into the kitchen and comes back with a sad little Walmart sheet cake. The frosting was smudged from the lid and it said, "Happy birthday, Kathy," because apparently spelling is optional at Walmart. She slams it down next to mine and says, "This is what a real cake looks like. Simple, elegant, chocolate. None of this dyed nonsense." At that point, I was done playing nice, so I said, maybe a little too loudly, "Well, good thing you brought it, Kathy. Wouldn't want you to suffer through my tacky attempt at honoring your mother's legacy."
Yes.
The room went dead silent. Kathy gasped like I had just punted a toddler across the room. Then, right on cue, she burst into tears and ran out of the dining room like a contestant eliminated on The Bachelor. Now half the family is blowing up my phone saying I embarrassed her on her special day and should apologize. The other half, the ones who actually ate my cake, are texting me things like "Team Red Velvet" and "Never forget 7/19, the cake wars." My husband thinks Kathy was ridiculous, but he's been conditioned since childhood to ignore her dramatic antics. I'm curious to get your thoughts, Dusty. Am I the astronaut for ruining Kathy's birthday with my red velvet monstrosity? Or should I have just let her Walmart masterpiece take center stage? You did nothing wrong. And I am so happy that you stood up to her and called her out in a very sarcastic way. I think it's fantastic. Like, no, you didn't embarrass her. What were you supposed to do? Were you supposed to let her be an absolute biznatch to you and just completely demean all the effort that you put into celebrating her birthday and honoring her mother's legacy with her shitty little Walmart sheet cake and say all the shit that she was saying and just take it? Was that what you were supposed to do? Because all you did was stand up for yourself. And if that embarrasses her, that's a her problem.
Yeah, Team Red Velvet.
Team
That's
Red
all I gotta
Velvet.
say. 100%.
Team Red Velvet.
Tony, now's not the time. Now's not the time.
What the are you doing, man?
What team are you on?
Obviously, Team Red.
You're Team Bizzo Walmart sheet cake now because you just said I'm never really been a Red Velvet fan. You know, it's not about that right now, man. It's about good and evil. Are you a Sith or are you a Jedi, man? It's that simple. This is a story of my wife's petty revenge during shopping. She and my son went into the supermarket to get a few things. They didn't have a shopping cart, just a couple of things that they could carry in their hands. There were long queues at the normal tills, so naturally, to skip them, they went to self-checkout. The system there is 4 self-checkouts and 1 line for all of them. Line was not long, maybe 2 to 3 people, but by the time they were next in line, there were around 10 people behind them. So their turn comes, and she was distracted for a few seconds, nothing unusual. We're talking about 4 seconds max. Usually when that happens, the person behind them prompts the next in line and waits for their turn. True sign of civilization. Not this time. A young couple, maybe in their late teens, early 20s, pushes past her and our son. Usually she would let it slide, but not this time. She calls out to him and asks, does he really think that 10 people behind her are waiting for him to cut past the line? His answer, well, you didn't pay enough attention and weren't fast enough. Instead of arguing with the idiot, she calmly swiped one of her items on his till and proceeded to the next that became vacant. By the time she finished with her items, he was still waiting on the store clerk to cancel her one item. As they went towards the exit, he called out to her, "You're crazy!" She calmly replied, "Well, you didn't pay enough attention," and exited out. Round of applause. Round of applause. Also, I don't know that I'd be like smart and quick enough to be able to pull that off. She was just like, "Hey, I'll show you," and swiped one of her items to scan it on his register, so he had to get it removed or pay for it. That's brilliant.
Brings me joy. It feeds my petty level, and I really like it. I have a very petty issue with basically with checkouts in general, and this makes me happy.
Roommate tried to sleep with my fiance. My fiance and I have been couch surfing while waiting for our move-in date. We have all of our stuff packed into the vehicle and we are only 2 weeks away. The last place we were at was with a couple that she knew. The wife was pregnant and for a few days things were going well. They gave us a tour of their house and everything, and me and the husband got to flex our cooking muscles together. We got along really well and even exchanged numbers so we could keep in touch. Not long into our stay, however, my fiance calls me while I'm at work saying she needs to talk to me as soon as I get off. When she picks me up, she tells me she's been in the car all day. She told the roommates that she went shopping. She started crying and told me that the husband had grabbed her ass and tried to get her to sleep with him.
What the fuck?
My initial reaction was explosive, but when I calmed down, I told her that we can go back and get our stuff. When we got there, the couple was sitting on the couch watching a movie. He called me buddy when I came in, and I had to resist the urge to throw something at him. I told him I needed to shower. Meanwhile, my fiance quietly grabbed the few things we brought in. In the bathroom, I took a marginally decent crap. To save you the nasty details, the conditions were right for me to scar him for life. He had this overpriced $200 loofah in the shower. I used it to scrub my body, felt great. Then I used it to clean my unwiped bottom, made sure not to wash it, and put it up where he usually hung it. After that amazing shower, I came out and got dressed, checked on my fiance in the car, and went back in for one last gut punch. I told his wife that he tried sleeping with my fiance, and to no one's surprise, I found out this isn't his first time. I left in a hurry while they argued. Me and my girl got the hell out of Dodge. I got a text the next day, one of him in all caps, "What the f*** is wrong with you?" Followed by a picture of his loofah covered in dry fecal matter. I simply sent a laughing emoji and blocked his number. Once again, we've got fantastic.
Those are
fantastic.
so good, Tony.
Who has
Well
a
done.
$200 loofah?
Mine was 4.
What's the point? Yes, he's
Yeah.
got a pregnant wife. Yeah, well, that's why he tried to cheat. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're not pregnant. You'll do."
That was good shit. That's amazing.
That was definitely good shit. Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.